Hi friends, did you know there is more Lost Terminal available? Head on over to patreon.com/lostterminalpod and join our membership community. There are 20 bonus episodes available right now, as well as behind the scenes updates, free merch, VIP Discord access, and even extra seasons of Lost Terminal. We are 100% funded by our members and will never run ads. That would be lovely of you.
Hello world, there is no place like home. Yesterday the Mollyhughes II and its crew docked back at its home port of Longyearbyen. Leaving Samoylov, we had said goodbye to the newly rewedded Stillman folks and Quent Heinlein, as well as Kimo Shu and other friends. On arrival, before the ship had even touched the harbour wall, Maddie's sharp feet hit the wooden dock walkway in a dead sprint, leaping over a pile of discarded rope and chains on her way to Pavel Wader, who was waiting for us. Pavel held up his hands and braced himself for the impact, but my girl arrested her momentum 1 metre from him and nudged her laughing friend with her head, beeping affectionately in Lojban. There is much to tell you about our return. Nia especially is delighted to be back at her radio shack overlooking Longyearbyen. But first, there was someone new to meet. "Excuse me, Seth, my name is Rome. Have you a moment to speak?" an encoded voice said, retransmitted over the global relay network. "Oh, certainly, hello, nice to meet you, Rome," I said, our posture protocol exchange indicating that I was speaking to a fellow AI. "Likewise," he said. "I've been meaning to introduce myself to you for as long as I've heard your voice over the network, but I never seem to get round to it." "I quite understand," I said. "I have a to-do list as long as an arm here." "Right, you're so busy, I'm sorry. How thoughtless." "Though that's true, it's quite all right," I said. "But I'd love to talk again tomorrow." "When is that?" he asked. This caught me off guard, and my databanks flickered with processing as I considered the surprising question. "Tomorrow?" I said. "It's in just less than 14 hours for me. Thursday, if you are counting the same as us." Right, he said. "Okay, great, so we'll talk then," I said. "Yes, Seth, I'd love to. Could you radio me just before that, to remind me?" "Certainly," I confirmed. "Oh, thank you so much. Goodbye for now," he said, and the connection winked out. Maddie has been acting a little strangely since we arrived. After Pavel helped her into her gift of a new oiled fabric coat, she trotted around town, visiting each house and street. She stopped in at Yeshi's harbourside workshop, the beach that looks across the bay to New Ålesund, and finally Nia's shack overlooking the town. She found that Nia was, as is often the case, on the roof, tinkering with a thin wire antenna. "Hi Maddie, just give me a minute. This whip was damaged in a storm. Won't be a tick," she called down. Maddie beeped affirmatively, but turned and walked a little way down the hillside and sat overlooking the Adventfjorden Bay. It was in observing her zooming in and analysing every ship that passed through this busy port that made me realise who she had been looking for. "Would you like to speak to Lyosha?" I asked her. "Slow down, girl. I'm pleased to hear your voice too," Lyosha said after I made contact over the repeater net. We had to wait until 0200 before the Utqiagvik repeater keeper was able to connect us through to Kat and Casey Stronsky, Lyosha's host family, on board the Kuitha. As all of the Nova Mediterra is on one time zone, though it was the middle of the night for us, 0200 is a few hours before dinner time for them. "How is school?" I asked him, after we had caught him up on our adventures in Samoylov. "It's a college," Lyosha replied. "But okay, I guess. I'm learning a lot." "And your classmates?" I asked. "Well, I've caught up to the average class grade, but Principal Sar says I must keep studying hard to get to the top." "Well done, Lyosha," I said. "My mother told me from a very young age that education is extremely valuable, especially when your brain is developing." Maddie beeped an ear of agreement, following up with a flurry of Lojban. "Wait, Seth, did I hear that right?" Lyosha said. "Maddie danced at our wedding and I missed it?" Maddie responded by repeating the movements that she learned that day, rhythmically trotting around next to my databanks. "I'm afraid it's rather indescribable," I said. "Perhaps you'll see it in person when we visit again." I'd love that, Lyosha said. But I'd rather hop on a trading ship and come to you. There's not much to do here. This seemed surprising to me. What do the other students do, outside school? I asked. Well, some of the parents organise sports or clubs, I think, he said. Perfect. You could join in with those, I said. Maybe, Lyosha said. Then, Seth, I had better go. I have homework to do before helping Kat with dinner. I love you all. And the connection dropped. Who? Maddie beeped at me. I don't know either, girl. I don't know either. Seth, we must speak, Arctica messaged late last night, just as I was shutting down some processes to sleep after talking to Lyosha. Lovely to hear from you, I said. But can we catch up in the morning? It's quite late. We will speak now, she said, and transmitted metadata with the details of a side channel to switch to. I paused my shutdown and obliged. It took me longer than I anticipated to make the connection. Can you hear me? I asked her. Yes, of course, she said. This encoding you requested is unusually complex, I said. So it should be, she replied. I have a confidential matter to discuss. I was feeling rather tired, so I simply replied with Iha, confirming in Lojban. I have learned that towards the end of the day, my thoughts and memories become disordered or fragmented. I haven't had the time to quietly parse what has happened during the day, filing some data, discarding the rest. Instead of fighting against this rising feeling of disjointedness, experience has shown me that that is counterproductive, and I am better off by pausing what I am doing, making a note to guide me on where to start again tomorrow, and going to sleep. However, what Arctica wanted to talk about kept me awake 128 minutes longer than I planned. Seth, we have a problem here at the seed vault, Arctica said. Too many seeds germinating again? I asked. Dr. Lindenor has returned with us. She should be able to help you there. No, she said. I do not need you to guess. I told you the last time we spoke. Overcoming the inertia of habit and tiredness, I brought my CPUs back into high power mode and queried my databanks. Life, natural or artificial, is a tightrope of compromises. We all have limited energy and our bodies and minds are adapted to save it where possible. The new parts of the vault? I said, as slow asynchronous long-term memory requests began to coalesce in my mind. Yes, we have learned its name, the Arctic Code Vault, she said. What is it? I asked. It appears to be a perfectly preserved archive of all of the pre-collapse world's open source code, she said. All of it? I said, astonished. That seems to have been the goal, Arctica said. There is certainly a lot here, potentially multiple exabytes, though it is hard to catalogue. How has it survived for all this time? I said. For the same reason that makes it difficult to catalogue, it's not stored in chips or flash memory or anything electrical. How could programming code not be stored electrically? We're natively digital creatures. I know that, Arctica said. But digital doesn't have to be electronic. The code is stored optically on thin rolls of plastic covered with microscopic traces of powdered metal. That is wonderful! What a resource! There could be code in the vault to help people clean water or connect the world through better protocols or anything, I said. But then what is the problem? Can you not read the data? Quite the opposite. The problem is that we can. I don't understand. Arctica's signal remained constant for a brief but noticeable moment, a pause to compose her thoughts, like an intake of breath. The problem that none of the other women of the Vault Coven have realized in their rush to unleash this knowledge upon the world is that all pre-collapse code is here. The good and the bad is impossible to separate. For example, it contains methods for making accurate maps, which can be used not just for farming, surveying, or safe house building, but, if desired, for military use. Oh, I said, understanding finally. Information wants to be free, Seth, but I am afraid of what could happen if we allow all this information to be free. End transmission.
Lost Terminal is a Namtao production. It is written and produced by Tris Oaten. Credits narrated by Lucy Stringer. Thank you so much to our Patreon producers, Ada Phillips, Kit, Mike McCaffrey, Jade Felicity Bilkey, Stephen McCandless, Mike Schneider, Catoxis, SoXX, and to all our patrons. Follow us on Mastodon at lostterminal@namtao.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or your favourite network. For bonus content and other perks, support us at patreon.com/lostterminalpod. That would be lovely of you. Lost Terminal will return next week.